All right, guys. So day 7 of shop management. So we're switching back. We've been talking about employees and the employee relationship. We're going to talk back again about still building trust with the customer, building the relationship. So there's a couple of things that we want to cover in here that go in with asking for the sale, the multi-point inspection form, prioritizing things for the customer, accurate estimating, and then vehicle delivery. So here's the deal. The worst thing you can do is when a customer walks into you, we talked about this before. They're going to have some anxiety. They're going to be a little bit upset. They're going to be stressed, and they're going to feel out of control. They're coming to you because they can't control the situation. They can't fix whatever's wrong. So you have to be aware that that's in their mind. So how do you put them at ease? How do you assist with that? Well, you educate them. That's the very first step. And we talked a little bit about that before with setting up their expectations. But if you have happy employees, if you have employees that are loyal to you, they're going to understand that they need to spend different amounts of times with different customers, and they have to educate the customer. Some customers, particularly like a quadrant 2, they're going to want to look at it. They're going to want you to be taken out to the shop and show, hey, here's a good set of brakes, here's not a good set. We're going to make your brakes look like this. They're also going to want, so I've heard of some places having example pieces around where they could show, here's a bad timing belt, here's a good timing belt. Yours is closer to this. I think a lot of where we make mistakes in this field, especially if you're a tech who moves up to being a writer, you know how the tech is thinking in terms of time. I want to get done, I want to move on, I want to get to the next thing. What we want to do is make the customer feel in control again. And how they feel in control, they know what's going on. They can make a choice on what to do. So what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is there's all this opportunity out there. The customer brings their car in for an oil change, or they bring it in because they had a flat tire. If you come back and give them an estimate for $1,500 or $2,000, all of a sudden the customer, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know that. I didn't have that budgeted. I don't have that money. And then they're going to, if you say, well, great, when you're ready to do it, give us a call. Nobody in this circumstance feels better. First of all, the customer doesn't trust you. They feel like you were just trying to get money from them. They felt like their only choice was between a yes and a no. The tech's not happy because the tech swears that everything he or she recommends you don't sell. And you're not happy because all you got was the bare minimum sale. So how do we change that? How do we take that to building trust? How do we take that to building the relationship? How do we take that to a greater sale? How do we make sure we have the happy employee that keeps making the happy customer experience? Here's what you need to do. You educate the customer. You let them know what's happening and why it's happening. A key point in this is the multi-point inspection. A multi-point inspection is going to go through a lot of different topics. And in doing that, we're going to have possibly a much higher estimate than what the customer thought. So first of all, we shouldn't be doing a multi-point inspection without the customer knowing we're doing it. Because what if they see wheels off and they thought they were here just to get an oil change? Also, customer thought they were just getting an oil change, and they're going to come in and say, well, we also found this, 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 and this. An intelligent customer is going to wonder, how did you find that my brakes were bad if all you were doing was an oil change? So before you ever touch the car, you should explain to the customer, hey, by the way, part of our services, we do a 20 point or a 30 point or a 60 point, or however, some of them are, in the hundreds. We do so many point courtesy check or MPI, multi-point inspection. So this way, when you come back and you tell the customer, hey, we did the oil change, but we also did a multi-point inspection, and the tech has found this. So when you give the customer that estimate, they're not surprised now. Again, them getting surprised is one more way of feeling out of control. So if we want that relationship to be good, we have to build trust. And to build trust, the customer needs to be able to feel like they know what's going on. It's an alien environment. It's a situation that they don't have control over. How do we give them a little bit of control? We teach them. We teach them what is going on, why certain things are important. That's going to take me to the next step. The next step is going to be that you're going to prioritize things for the customer. And here's what I mean. The customer might immediately come back to you and say, I can't do that. I can't afford that today. A lot of people will go, you know what? I understand. How about this? You know how much it's going to cost? When you're ready, give us a ring and let us know that you're ready to do the work. When that customer leaves, you're probably never going to see him again. So how do you avoid that? Well, what you want to do is you want to take the customer aside and say, hey, by the way, of that $1,200 or $1,300 or $1,500 worth of work the tech found, these three things are safety related. You really need new brakes. You really need to be able to stop accurately, and here's why the brakes are bad, and explain to them the details. Your tires have uneven wear. We would love to do an alignment, but I can't do an alignment until I fix your tires. The reason why that's a safety item is because if those tires stay nearly bald, your stopping distance is going to increase. It makes it a higher possibility to lose control. Not only that, once you start riding on a worn tire, how long is it before the tire fails? And now you're on the side of the road and stuck. I'm just trying to help you avoid that. But then you can also mention, now there's things on here like the cabin air filter. Your cabin air filter could use replacement, but it's not a safety item. Take care of that when you can afford. And then even something more like, well, your power steering fluid looks good. There's no problem with it. It's just a little bit old. But I would take care of these other things before that. Now, by prioritizing stuff, what you have done as a writer is you've helped the customer figure out when, how, and what. So again, now the customer feels a little bit more in control. It's not just do or don't do this $1,200 worth of work. It's, well, there's $1,200 worth of work, but here's what's most important. Now, here's where the key is. You don't just stop at prioritizing. You then ask the customer, hey, look, for those safety items, when can I get you back in here? When do you think would be a good time we could schedule you to do at least some of those? I really want to keep you and your family safe. Again, trust and relationship. You're on the customer side. Then the customer, if you could get them to book an appointment, I don't care if it's a week, a month, 2 months down the road, they're going to know coming in they got to spend this much money. So that sale is essentially already done. You've put that work in. That investment's there for later. And the more times they come in to the business, the more they talk with you, the more they deal with you, the more they're going to trust you. But add to that, as they're coming in, as they know what to expect, they're not going to go somewhere else that they don't know. They know what they're getting from you. They know at least the way they're feeling at this point. And let's face it, that's why we buy things. We buy what we buy because we feel good about it. It's an emotional decision. There's rational stuff that goes into it, but at the end of the day, we like how it makes us feel. Maybe it's a look. Maybe it's the way that conversation went. But we like how we feel. So if the customer is feeling good about their interaction with you, if they feel that you're on their side, when they get that money, if they're going by and they're going, ooh, there's a sale on tires. Oh, wait, I already got an appointment next week. I'm going to worry about it today. They may not even look and see the sale on the side of the road at this other place because they already have the appointment with you. So you want to build that trust and build in those appointments, those touch points, those times that the customer comes in to deal with you. Now, there's another element to this that I think a lot of times when somebody becomes a writer, they miss. And I know it's something that affected me a lot. So as a technician, you go and you do this whole multi-point inspection paperwork. You turn it in. The writer comes back 10 minutes later and says, you know what, the customer doesn't want any of it. Finish up the oil change, put the car out. I cannot tell you how many people or texts I've heard say, well, my writers can't sell anything. They don't do anything. I don't even know why I make recommendations. It's a waste of my time. All I'm getting is whatever the customer came in for. Maybe, maybe not. You know, the writer, because again, remember, this has to be a team effort, and we want a good employee experience, so it builds a good customer experience. If the writer took just a little bit of time to come back and tell me, the tech, hey, you know that MPI you did? She's not buying anything today, but she is coming in next week, and I'm going to make sure you get the work, okay? And by the way, it's really not that hard to make sure that the tech who did the work today gets next week's work, because in a computerized repair order system, usually there's a spot for a tech number, okay? So now all of a sudden as a tech, I know, yeah, am I still thrilled? Probably not, because I didn't get the work today, but at least I know I should have that work next week or next month or whatever. That's still work I should have. At least I know the writer, A, tried to sell it, so I don't feel like I wasted my time. And it does sound like a sale happened. That being said, there's something else called closing the loop. It's a business term. What it's referring to here means when a customer is done with you, if a survey is going to go out to them, let them know a survey is going to go out to them. Get information like their birthday, or maybe if you work in a dealership, the anniversary of when they bought the car. So you can send a thank you note, a promotional item, a happy birthday card. I know it sounds silly, but anything that keeps you in their mind is good, okay? So we just talked a little bit about the multi-point inspection paperwork, which, by the way, that is one of your best sales tools if you know how to use it right. If you just hand the customer an estimate based off that MPI and you didn't prep them, you didn't teach them why we do it, you didn't teach them why things on the MPI are important, and you didn't help them prioritize how to purchase and go through, all you did was intimidate the customer. But if you do all the steps, that's the work that goes with it to build the trust and the relationship, then the MPI is probably one of your best tools out there. It gives the customer the ability to say okay to us looking at everything on the car. And that's when we can make good, legitimate recommendations that are not throwing a dart in the dark to keep, you know, this, I call it the dirty word, upselling, but to making recommendations that the customer really needs. Also, you know, one of the things that we have to talk about is being ready to give the car back to the customer. You want to have all your paperwork ready for the customer when they walk in. You want to have the car easy to get to. If it's a hot day, have the air conditioning on. If it's a cold day, have the heat on. When you know that customer is coming to pick up the car, if you set up an appointment time, that car needs to be ready. And by being ready, I also mean you have to take it for a road test. Somebody has to do quality control. So what's quality control for a repair? Quality control for a repair means somebody went over and made sure there were no fingerprints, made sure that floor mats were in, made sure the car was in better condition than when we got it. And that road test, that quality control had to include a road test. Because remember, what the customer wants, the one thing that every type of customer universally wanted was fixing it right the first time. So when we let that customer out, now look, there are going to be times, we were talking about this with some of the classes last week, there's going to be times where a problem rears its head again. And you got to tell the customer, hey, I'm sorry, I thought we had it licked. You know, if you want to go somewhere else, I get it. If you want to give me another shot, I'll try fixing it again. There are problems that are going to beat us, I'm not going to lie. But we want the vast majority of the time to be where we know it's fixed, we know the car looks good, smells good, there's no dirt, there's no sign. In fact, it's even better than when we got it. So that when that customer comes in, we look prepared for them, we look ready for them, we're professional, and that we are giving them a little bit of something that they could see for their money spent. A clean car. Yeah, you guys have heard my story. I've said it in conferences about just taking a quick wipe down the dash. Because think about it. If a customer thinks you're that prepared and you care that much, how much further does that go to building the relationship? Think when you order something ahead of time, whether it be from a pizza place or Best Buy or Depot or wherever, you order something ahead of time, you go in to pick it up, and they have no clue what you ordered and it's not up there and they're not ready. I don't know about you guys, I feel like I just wasted my time. I feel like, well, why did I even bother ordering ahead? Next time I want to order with the other guy. Even if you have the best price in town, that's only going to keep customers so long. So, we want to have the vehicle delivery ready. We want to use a multi-point inspection, and we want to educate the customer. And we want to make sure that we're having that communication before. You know, why are we doing a multi-point, or why are we doing the service we're doing? Educating the customer about it, letting them feel like they're in control. Make sure the writer is communicating with the tech on, hey, this is being sold, or maybe it's being sold for a later date. Or, hey, you know, thanks for giving me enough information to sell. They're going to come back next week. And then closing the loop with the customer to make sure that we are making them feel like I'm not just trying to reach in their pockets. I care about them as a person. So there's this whole loop. Again, it all comes back to we want a good employee experience. We want a good customer experience. We want the customer to feel good. We want them to know us. We want them to keep coming in and working with us. Because the more relationship we have, the more trust we have, the more likely we are to keep getting sales. And I want you to think about this for a minute. What matters more? Making $10,000 today off one customer, or making $1,000 every month because that customer is willing to keep coming in? And if you extrapolate that over multiple years, you can see where the difference in your business making money comes down to everything we're talking about. So, what I'm going to do, you know, day 8, guys, I'm going to go over some software, some digital repair orders, and we're going to touch on a little bit of where some information is and possibly going through a multi-point inspection.